Halloween, the time of the year that most of us remember as little kids running around with our McDonald's Happy Meal buckets, our pillowcases, and our Superman and Power Rangers costumes. But is that really Halloween is all about? And how should we feel about that as Christians? Let's talk about it. Now, I've gotten a lot of questions from people this year about whether or not we celebrate Halloween. And as a general rule in Christianity, no, we don't celebrate Halloween. However, most of us at one point or another have let our kids go trick or treating and get free candy because, hey, who doesn't love free candy? But if you were to get onto YouTube today and just take a scroll down for Halloween and Christianity, you're going to see a whole lot of scary videos like Halloween from a former Satanist and ex-witches speak out against Halloween. These kind of things can really get you to thinking. And while I can't endorse learning everything you know from YouTube, some of it can be kind of good. But let's just throw YouTube out for a second and let's talk about it from a practical, biblical perspective. When we look at the sort of decorations that we see around this season these days, a lot of it involves really graphic imagery of murder, torture, witchcraft, and a whole host of other things that we as Christians don't believe is right. So we have to ask ourselves the question, is it a good idea for us to be going around with our kids in the middle of the night? If we look at it purely from a biblical point of view, we see that Psalm chapter 101 and verse 3 says, I will set no wicked thing before mine eyes. I hate the work of them that turn aside. It shall not cleave to me. Now, does this give us reason to believe that as Christians, we should be exposing ourselves to this one day a year just because there's candy involved? Some might argue, but Brother Matt, Halloween's not in the Bible. And in that, you'd be pretty correct. Halloween doesn't appear in the Bible. I can hop in my web browser and do a quick search for Halloween in the Bible, and I'm not going to find it, or even looking in my concordance. But that doesn't mean that some of the things that it represents aren't. And that's really where we need to start taking a look as believers. For example, scriptures like Ephesians 5 and 11 exist, and it says, and have no fellowship with the unfruitful works of darkness, but rather reprove them. There's one example, but that's not the only one. How about scriptures like 1 Thessalonians 5 and 22, where it says, abstain from all appearance of evil. Now, can we just walk around surrounded by all the horrible things that Halloween represents and say, oh, no, I'm not taking part in this. I don't support this. I'm just here for the candy. Yeah, sure. But it just really doesn't look good. So let me leave you with one more thought in scripture here. Otherwise, this podcast is going to be 12 million minutes long, and you are probably already thinking about clicking off as it is. Look with me in 2 Corinthians chapter 6 and verse number 14, where it says, be ye not unequally yoked together with unbelievers. For what fellowship hath righteousness with unrighteousness, and what communion hath light with darkness? Now, there's a lot of different applications that can be made with this particular scripture, but we need to make sure that we focus on that end part right there. What communion hath light with darkness? In a holiday based solely on darkness, what should we have to do with it? Now, I'll leave you to make your own conclusions, but as for what we do here at the Pentecostal Church, we're not celebrators of Halloween. It's just not profitable for us to do. And I don't mean that in a monetary sense. I mean it in a spiritual one. It's just not good for us. Nothing good comes out of it. Nothing beneficial comes from it. And really, if you want candy, wait until the day after Halloween and buy it at a massive discount. Thanks so much for joining me today on Let's Talk About It. And I hope that I've been able to give you some kind of insight into Halloween and really how we should be dealing with it. Hope you're having a great October 31st.